to that. Others was talking to other jurisdictions about their getting back to the cities to take a similar act. But I think as you saw, Mr. Towns, it was a fairly open discussion for a long time. And I, for one, felt it was good to get this stuff out in the air. And let's talk about it and see, more important than anything else, let's see what the public is feeling, whether or not they're getting their dollars out of here or not.
That's
my thoughts on the subcommittee. I'm sorry, on the CBOC size. You know, it's not that I'm against shrinking the size of the CBOC. It's just that I had practical concerns. Let me preface my comments by saying that I showed up at the same Hercules City Council meeting that was just referenced, and the word dysfunctional just kept on appearing over and over and over again. Now, you know, I don't bring the baggage that other people may have, but since I've started in April, I've actually found these meetings to be quite efficient. I don't know if that's a result of a learning curve from the chair. Perhaps these meetings were not as efficiently run, but I think that the meetings are actually quite well run now, and I think that's a compliment to our chair. I also think it's a compliment to the volunteers who come to the CBOC to volunteer their hard-earned free time to look at this work in the spirit of public service. Some of those practical concerns that I shared is that if we have geographical representation, which we do right now, the city of Hercules, the city of Pinole, the city of El Cerrito, you get the idea. If we have geographical representation, the problem is that we have to make sure that there's geographical representation throughout the school district. So for instance, right now I'm appointed by Supervisor John Joya, and he represents the unincorporated areas of El Sobrante, Montalban, and Kensington, which would not be represented if we only switched to a 5-city representation model. In which case, it actually does become a civil rights violation, because if we're trying to provide some cities with representation, we would leave out some areas. So if we are going to have geographical representation, then we're going to need to be able to represent everyone throughout the school district. So that's just one practical concern that I share. Another practical concern that I share is that we need somebody who knows how to build a building. It's just that simple. So if you eliminate the person who's on the Building Trades Council, then we do need to have somebody here who knows how to do the building. Because I'm a person with legal training. I understand how to ask hard questions using my background, training, and experience, but I'm terrible with my hands. I cannot build a building at all. You would not want me on a deserted island. So my point is that if we are going to shrink the committee, who are we going to cut, given those practical concerns that I have just expressed? It's not that I'm against shrinking the size of the committee. I'm against the idea that we are dysfunctional and repeating that word over and over and over again. And I share some practical concerns in shrinking the committee.
One minute, so I'll try and squeeze it in. I agree with Mr. Chow that part of the problem discussing this is overusing the word dysfunctional. To me, a more practical term that's unsuccessful or disappointing, because ultimately there's some kind of goal that the committee is expected to accomplish, and then when people are criticizing it, they're not as concerned about whether people are yelling at each other or not getting along, but whether it's producing the results it's supposed to. So, and then the next question is that related to the size of the committee or not, or is it related to something else? So I think I'd like to go back and try and dig up the research that Mr. Snyder did before, and then we can discuss it further in the committee and share that with the school board when we have talked about it some more. And also, I'm very interested in this. Even though I don't live in Hercules, the people there were very interested in hearing what I had to say. So I think we can piggyback to some degree on the process in Hercules if people want to express their opinions about this in a public forum.
Any other comments from Tom?
I'll just briefly, my
sense of this whole thing is that the idea that size equals unwieldy, equals ineffectual, equals then dysfunctional in some people's minds. And while all of that can be argued either way, it's hard to really, I think, objectively evaluate that, quite frankly. I think the practical side of, when you look at the roster of our 19 positions, you start with the 5 that are by statute. And then you look at the other positions, the 5 cities that have representatives, the 2 supervisors, county supervisors that have positions. Those represent 7 seats. And I think it's just very, very impractical to think of taking away something like that. I think that sort of representation would be, I just can't imagine that would be easy and justified and warranted. And then, of course, each of the school board members getting their own, I don't know the history of how really all that, the mechanics of that came about. So I just say that I think our challenge is to become, continuing through continuous improvement, to become increasingly effectual and effective in what we're doing. And I think any move to reduce the size of it would just, create distractions and would increase our ineffectiveness.
We're going to have to make a motion to extend the meeting to 7:30,
I so move by 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
A second.
Because I have to go get something to eat
Okay.
That's what you're showing.
after. I'm not unhappy.
So we have a motion and a second. 15-minute extension.
Yeah.
Who's voting?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Well, I'm an aye. I'd just like to point out one thing. Nobody told me that
Still
when I was
voting?
nominated.
Wait.
Point of
Excuse me,
Are
Madam
we
Chair.
done with?
Point of order.
Are we done, Tasha has a question.
Tasha?
I was wondering, are we done with the vote? He just jumped in and are we moving or what are we, I don't know.
We have a motion on the floor.
My
We
error.
have the second. We are moving for approval to extend the meeting for 15 minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
One opposition? 2 oppositions.
3, actually.
3 in school board.
3 oppositions. Majority in favor. We will extend the meeting 15 minutes. Okay, proceed.
Just one very brief point. When the city council of Hercules nominated me to come on this board, I was sent then to the school board to be appointed. No one said to me, "You represent Hercules." I've understood that every member of this committee serves at large. The idea that we're limited to some geographic area or some particular interest because of who appointed us was not in the understanding of mine. I don't find any support of that in any of the documents that created the committee or any of the state laws. I believe that each one of us is here to serve on an at-large basis, not based on where we're appointed from or where we're appointed, not appointed from. And I don't think that if, we've got right now, the city of San Pablo for some time has decided not to appoint anyone. They've got their own objections. And I happened to talk with them about what they were, but that doesn't mean that they don't get a fair shake from this committee. It just means that nobody they've nominated is sitting here and in any exchanges.
For me, I think there's good points and arguments on both sides. And I sort of still believe the school board doesn't need to have an appointee. As Tom had said originally, it was just one board member, George Harris, who decided that. And nobody questioned it, challenged it, thought about it, and it just happened. And I've always been puzzled, like, why do I need an appointee to the oversight committee? I think it's unnecessary, but it's been that way, and usually people just continue. To me, if you want to look at where it should start, it's like, it's not really necessary for the board, because we oversee anyway, any suggestions you make, it comes back to us. And I don't really see the need, the cities, the unincorporated areas, the parents, the trades the other group. Local one, I guess, does UTR have a position?